Keith Pompey.
Hey, what's up, Doc? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's great. Doc, yesterday you said that you guys are there will be a game seven. What gives you the confidence that you guys can force a game seven?
Well, I should be, shouldn't I, Keith? I mean, I believe in my team. So that's it.
Yeah, the reason why I said that is just because of, the two collapses. Ben's been struggling from the foul line. Tobias looked a little out of sorts, and Joel looked like he ran out of gas the last two games.
Yeah, but
So
that was the last game. You get to the next game and it's a new game. Every game's a single game. There's no like if Tobias, let's say, was tired or out of it. That means he's gonna be out of it tomorrow. No, I trust my guys, Keith. For the most part, they've come through and they've played well. I really believe they're going to do that. If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't have said that.
yeah, in regards to your bench, it seems like the last two games they went on runs when you had a lot of your rotation guys. And is there any thought of shortening up your rotation this next game?
Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts. I don't know if you've noticed, I have a really big coaching staff. So we've probably have gone over every thought that you probably can think of. And we do that. And that's what we do actually after every game, whether we win or lose. So that's no different. We had Tobias on the floor with the rest of the bench guys, and they didn't perform well. So we clearly want to make sure that doesn't happen again.
And my last question, I noticed that you guys kept the same routine, like film study. Was there any sense, like after the last game, to probably have a practice, or why did you decide to just stick with the same routine?
Because I didn't think we needed practice. I thought we needed rest and watch film. I think it's more important. We've done that all year. I don't think one bad loss, let's panic and go practice for 2 hours. I don't think that's good for anyone.
Thanks, Doc.
All right.
Jeff Skaversky.
Hey, Doc, I think everyone left last night, shocked, kind of stunned at what happened. How do you make sure that your players don't lose that confidence that you have in your team right now? Did you say anything to them today?
Oh yeah,
about,
yeah. I mean, everyone.
confident?
Yeah, everyone was. I don't know what the word would be, but you have a lead like that. You could see it wiltering away early. At least I could. That's why I called the early timeout in the third. I just didn't think, even though they kept the 22-point lead, I think it was, or 20-point lead, I didn't think we were playing the same way with the same urgency, defensively, flying around. Offensively, I thought the ball stopped moving. So you could see, not that we were going to lose the game, you can see us not playing well coming in that game, and hopefully you can get through it and win the game, but it didn't happen. So no, losses like this sting, and they should. And that's what I told our guys. They should hurt. And then you get back to film and you work out the things, you see the things you didn't do, and you build them back up and you throw them back out there and they'll be ready. They have proven to be a very resilient group. So I have no reason to believe they won't be tomorrow.
And if I could follow up about Ben Simmons, is there anything you can do? He said yesterday that the free throw issues is maybe a mental thing. Is there anything you can do to get him to either relax more, get that out of his head, so we can hit more free throws, to help you guys, win and close out these games?
Yeah, I don't know, but it is a mental game. We all know that. It's always been that. With all these guys in the league that struggle, I had DeAndre Jordan, going through the same stuff during the playoffs and through his career. The one thing you got to do is keep working on him. You got to keep trying to get a routine that maybe you can lose the mental part, because you have checked into your routine, but it's hard to do right now. And so we just got to keep him working on him, and that's what he's doing. He's putting in the work. That's all you can ask him to do right now. The mental stuff is hard to get rid of this easy. So you just got to step up there and keep shooting them, and we got to keep supporting them.
John
Thank
Clark.
you. Hey, Doc.
What do you think specifically is going on with Tobias Harris in the last two games in the fourth quarter? A lack of production, a lack of involvement.
Yeah, listen, the game the other night was easy. Seth had it going. So you played a two-man game with Seth and Joel, and you spend time there. I think Bogdanovich has done a pretty good job. That was one of the switches they've done 2 games ago, and it's taken away some of his speed plays that he has the advantage on bigs when they guard him. Bogdanovich is a pretty good post player. They're doubling him on the post, so they're taking that away. We believe we can get him going. I believe Tobias will have a pretty good game tomorrow.
And one other question for you. I know there's different theories of coaching and everything. Obviously, you told us in film study the other day that you showed everybody certain times where they were thinking of hero ball and things like that. Is there a different tact, or do you change it up at all when you're talking to them when this has happened twice in a row?
Yeah, but it was different to me. Atlanta's game to last night's game. I don't think we lost the same way. I did think the ball just didn't move at all with the second group. I thought the second group, a bunch of guys thought they had great matchups, and instead of running the sets to get to the matchup, they tried to take it on themselves, and the ball didn't move. But more importantly, we didn't get any stops. They scored 40 points in the fourth quarter. We scored 19, right? And 40 points means we're not running a lot or getting in transition a lot because they're scoring. Our offense is tied to our defense. So it's 2 different games, and so we'll approach them 2 different ways.
Thank you.
Steve McMenamin.
Doc, every team you coach is different, and every playoff series you're involved with, of course, different. In the time leading up to Game 6, do you look back at any other series you've had in the past where your team might have been up and the other team came back, and then something maybe you could have done in that situation, you could apply to this situation to help you out?
Well, I don't know if it's anything you can do in one series with another team you can do with another. I've been in literally probably every situation. One of the players asked me, have I ever lost a game, 5 at home and won the series? And I said, yeah, I have, against San Antonio Spurs. I said, but that was then and this is now. You know what I mean? But we lost Game 5 in LA, went to San Antonio and won, and then won a Game 7, which might have been one of the greatest games ever, as far as the way it was played. And Chris Paul made an amazing shot at the end. Unfortunately, almost tore his hamstring doing it, but, he made a big shot. So obviously, individually, I know it's a task that can be done. And I shared that when the guy asked that, but I don't know what that does, what I mean, for everybody. But but all these experiences you put in the bank, and you try to use them to the best that you can.
Thanks.
Mark Narducci.
Doc, Ben, we've all talked about his struggles and everything, but going to the basket, he can still take anybody off the dribble, whether it's in transition or in a half-court setting. Would you maybe even try to encourage him to do that early in the game, maybe even to get his confidence going? Because he certainly has the ability to do it and to finish.
Yeah, he did it a couple times early. Again, Mark, I thought early in the game he was aggressive. Not necessarily shooting, but definitely getting in the paint and creating action. That's what I look for Ben. Like, if he gets to the paint and gets to the basket, I'm fine with that. If he gets to the paint and gets to the basket and makes passes, I'm fine with that. It's when he doesn't get to the paint at all. And so, but listen, it's tough. Like, you start struggling with your free throws, you tend not to want to drive, right? And what we're doing is we're really encouraging them to get in there and keep going. I thought, I got to say this, I was really proud of them in the first half because they kept following them. And then I called an ISO play for them to drive the next play, basically saying, let's get fouled again. We thought it was to our advantage in the first half, at least, because it got them in foul trouble. And that kind of helped us in the third. But where it came back to haunt us, obviously, is in the fourth when we're still missing shots. So, but we'll get him there. I believe in him, and I believe he'll be ready.
Thank you.
We have time for two more. We'll start with Kai Carlin.
Hey, Coach. Over these last two games, have you kind of felt the absence of, or where have you felt the absence of Danny Green the most?
It's a good question, Kai. Obviously, there's definitely been something. Just his calmness, his leadership, his ability to make a big shot in a moment, and then his defense. To me, that's what's been missed the most. And we talked about that today as a staff. That's having two guys on the starting lineup that teams feel like they can attack now, opposed to just one where you can move around and hide. That's definitely been missed there for sure.
Thank you.
Final question, we'll go to Austin Crow.
Doc, last night you mentioned yourself as one of the people at fault for the loss, and from the film that you looked at today, what would you say those faults were, and then how do you correct those faults for Game 6?
Well, you always can. I thought we should have got Seth more involved in the fourth, even though he was gassed. But the action with him and Joel was almost unguardable. I thought the last 3 or 4 minutes we went away from that too much. We did call it a couple of times and didn't get into it. That is what it is. But I just thought, our philosophy of milking a play, I don't know if you can milk a play more than we milked the one play. But we still should have kept going to it. And then the last shot with Joel, I thought we drew it up perfect. But Joel rolled, and we should have made it clear we wanted him to go to that elbow. I think he's unguardable there. In the paint, they just send so many bodies at him that I think it's really difficult for him to get a good look. But when he rose to that little elbow area, and not to the three, to the elbow, I think it's a perfect shot for him, or it allows him to get to the second action. So there's always things you can do better. You too. You guys need to write better. We all can do better.
Appreciate you.
All
Thank
right.
you, Coach.
Take guys.